Yo, 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 peace family, word is bond. Share. Moonrise Hotel. Let's get into it. Now, to begin this video, I want to talk about the energy that we just came out of, right? These portals. The first, April 1st, the pink moon, April 3rd, Mercury, comments, a lot of different things in April, right? A lot of different energy. You have some Venus conjunctions, and, mark your calendar for May, right? Upcoming moon, flower moon, a micro moon, on the first asteroid, opposition, ET, a quadrant's coming up, right? So it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of comments and asteroids, and it's a lot of cosmic energy permeating the planet right now, right? And throughout the rest of the year, because it's a reset year, so you're going to see a lot of supernatural energy. A lot of portals are opening, right? Especially with this Mercury retrograde energy, So for the Earth signs practice discipline, organization. Air signs communication, relationships, and information, right? It's time for all of us to lock in and tap in, right? Now, this the moon phases in May are going to be going through Libra, Leo, the Ursa constellations. It's going to be a lot of different things in the cosmos, right? Astrologically and astronomically speaking, which also comes down to Earth, right? Look at this. Overnight, the gas prices went up in the Metro Detroit over $2, right? This is a symbolic to the collapse of the system upcoming, right? Now, lost civilization discovered in Georgia's Highland challenges ancient history, right? Why does this challenge ancient history? Because his story was rewritten, right? It was an erasure, an attempt to erase the original melanated, indigenous aboriginal beings of Turtle Island, Tamiri, right? The Nijis, right? The Murs, right? The melanated beings, right? Now, this is a temple a Masonic temple in Pontiac, Michigan, where I reside, right? See, a lot of people aren't hip to what's going on, right? These buildings, these temples, that are just sitting right in your cities, right? In your downtown areas, most likely. But, in general, these are ancient buildings, right? Look at the structure, right? I always say that this is linked and connected to ancient Tartarian, ancient Tartaria. When it comes to sacred geometrical patterns, that we used to create. We actually created these buildings using advanced technology, right? And that's why all the architecture that you see is a derivative of the Tartarian Empire, as well as, the Moorish infrastructure, right? These ancient structures are connected to ley lines, energy centers, nodes, points, right? And the whole entire electrical grid system that connects to energy centers, right? Portals, right? These Masonic temples are actually built on top of portals, right? Because we're going to talk about underground caverns, and we're going to talk about things like that later on in this video, right? But again, like I said, this is the land of Mu, right? Tartaria, ancient Lemuria, right? This all connects to the melanated beings of the Mississippi, right? The old Mississippian Empire, right? Tartaria, right here, right? The Cahokia, Memphis, right? Cairo. We have these Cairo, Egypt's, right? We have all of this in Tamiri, right? Turtle Island. This is the original land, right? You can see right here on this old picture that this is the actual depiction of the Mississippi River, right? You see New Orleans right there, right? Baton Rouge. This is more down south, right? This is a picture of it going down south to Louisiana. This is an older map, though, right? I'm telling you, family. I always say frequently creates frequency, right? So the more we put out this energy through the ethers as the melanated beings, as long as we keep stepping in our power, family, we're going to keep raising the vibration, right? That's why these publications are going to keep showing up, right? 2,000-year-old Egyptian pharaohs are being found, right? Discovered. These publications are just constantly popping up. They're putting it in the public domain because they have to. They have to put it in the media, on these news outlets. These media outlets, these beings have an agenda and they're sticking to it. Now go ahead and watch this build about the Third Eye Atlas real fast.
This means the comet could be over 10 billion years old. It sure looks like an artificial space object. But the real story is far older and stranger than anything in our solar system. And 2 new studies show that this extra deuterium can actually form naturally, but only in extreme conditions. 3I Atlas is releasing an abnormal amount of deuterium, far more than any normal comet should. That's a heavy form of hydrogen with an extra neutron. It can help kickstart powerful nuclear fusion reactions. In other words, this strange comet is releasing nuclear fuel. That's because deuterium is slightly heavier than normal hydrogen, so it forms stronger chemical bonds at very low temperatures, about -405 degrees Fahrenheit. So, if 3I Atlas came from a place that cold, that might explain why it has a lot of that rare, heavy type of hydrogen. The second study goes even further. It suggests this object may be between 10 and 12 billion years old. That means it formed long before our sun existed. This comet. This isn't just an interstellar visitor. It's a relic from an ancient planetary system.
Just understanding 3I Atlas is a codex, right? And it's actually talking about the mothership in general, right? Or the mothership energy. Now, deuterium, this molecule is connected to the hydrogen-based molecule, which is connected to the primordial waters, right? And it's saying that it's used in nuclear fusion as a neutron stabilizer in nuclear reactors. Deuterium contains 1 proton, 1 neutron, and 1 electron. It reacts with oxygen to form heavy water, D2O, used to moderate or slow down neutrons in nuclear reactors. So it's used, so it's subatomic energy, right? That's used to manipulate time. It actually makes time goes backwards, right? So that's connected to the tachyon energy, right? That I was talking about, the ethereal aspect of energy when you put a proton, neutron, and a electron together, right? It's the creational aspect of life, right? It's like a nuclear bomb going off, right? A vortex, a wormhole. Now, this is a publication that talked about an underground city under Michigan, right? Now, this is connected to the underground cities and underground caverns, right? In general, that are all under the planet, right? Everywhere you go, there's an underground, as above, so below, right? I'm also going to be talking about a vision I had actually as well underground. Now, connect to the underground lizard people, right? They're coming for you, right? The reptilians. But at the end of the day, family, you do have to understand that there is an underworld. There are subterranean bases and caverns, inner caverns, subterranean kingdoms, and there's just another world under our feet, right? We all have to know this, right? And this connects to Agartha, Shambhala, right? The Crystal City, right? The inner earth, right? Been talking about that as well. And there is also an intergalactic federation within the earth, right? So, family, our this is all connected to the Melanites because it's a war that's going on, right? Now, you still have publications like this. China drills 3,000 feet under the Antarctic ice and open the gateway to a lake frozen in time, right? Like I said, family, this is all symbolic to going inside of the earth, right? Just like when they talk about they discovered 5% of the ocean, they want to go down, right? Because that's actually where the heavens is, right? They inverted reality, right? Now I'm going to talk about a vision I had. So, family, a couple years ago, I had a vision. I was actually confronted in this premonition by a goddess. She had on armor, very beautiful, very radiant, and she had warriors, guardians standing next to her right the whole time. I could just tell she was in control in this dream, right? Now, we were in the underground bunker. We were underneath the ground, and she pretty much told me that everything was coming up to the surface, right? And then I saw reptilians. I saw all types of different extraterrestrial beings in this premonition, family. And, this is all working in alignment with what's going on, everything being discovered, you know what I'm saying? And again, there is a world underneath this world, the halls of Amenti, Duat, many different subterranean kingdoms, and underneath your feet is the power source, the black sun. And then in the earth, Agartha, Shambhala, the Crystal City, right, where the eternal flame lies within the womb of the planet, right? Ashe, ashe, ashe. Peace, family, oneness, wholeness, divine unity.